You had my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Claire, I'm not standing here asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you not to marry him.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're fighting an army of robots. And I have a bow and arrow.
It's the Al Travis Show. We love having her on. She's Shannon Watson with Majority in the Middle. Shannon, how was your Christmas?
It was good. I didn't do a whole lot, which I think is, just what I need. Yeah.
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 I asked this because I care. You live in a facility that takes care of the snow. When we get the blizzard, you see, that's the smile on your face. You got to smile. You're just laughing here. I'm too old for this anymore. That is
exactly why I live in an apartment building as opposed. I sold my house. I seriously, I sold my house for two reasons. Number one, I'm not handy. I wanted to be. I watch those HGTV shows. I want to be one of those people. Yeah. I am not one of those people. It is not my skill set. So I'm not handy. And so taking care of the maintenance of a house is not the thing. But also, when my house was in St. Paul, it's still there. It's just not mine anymore. But I was working at the Chamber of Commerce, and that meant I worked very closely with the city. And I regularly interacted with the Department of Safety and Inspections, the city of St. Paul. And one of their duties is to send the nasty gram letter if you don't shovel your walk, your sidewalk. And the first time I received one of those letters, because I did not shovel my sidewalk, I realized that was both a personally thing, because I'm the oldest child, and so I was like, I didn't follow the rules, but also this was probably a professional problem, and I really hate shoveling. So I sold the house, live in an apartment, do not have to think about it. It's awesome.
I'm out yesterday, and I don't know how much snow we got because it's so drifted over. Their places was a foot and a half high, and I'm thinking, 61 years old, I don't need this crap anymore. It's 13 below with the wind chill. It was howling. I'm like, I don't know why we live here. I mean, Minnesota and all, but I mean, the first time this hit and you're putting buffalo chunks in the sod hut, the fireplace, you move south, you get out. There's no reason. I'm practically done. I have no more want for snow, and we're just getting into January. I mean, I'm not going to do well here. But Christmas was good. Did you eat any of those spatula balls or whatever you call them for Christmas? That was smashy stuff.
I don't know if my family had any of that. I'll have to ask them.
For folks who don't know, this was the nastiest tradition I've ever heard of for Christmas. You take what, mix it with pimento.
Pimento loaf with Miracle Whip and smash it all together and put it on rye bread.
Yeah, that's got to be about the nastiest holiday tradition ever. Okay.
I mean, it probably has Depression era roots or something. I mean, that's.
Oh, this is Dad's messing with Shannon when she is 4. Shannon doesn't know. Went in the fridge, ran 4 things, and put it together, and now we got a family tradition, because that's not happening anywhere else. This isn't like from my Polish heritage or my whatever you are. I don't even know. That's not. People don't do that. That's not cool. All right, so you don't.
I won't tell you some other strange eating habits, something like that. So.
Okay, never going to Shannon's house. Make a note. Okay, let's ask you this: holiday gets done, and everyone's going to have their opinion on this. The Nick, what's his name? The Nick Shirley kid on X, does this video, this thing, 42 minutes long. I wasn't watching. Quite frankly, I was off the grid for my Christmas holiday. I don't want to follow all that stuff. Yeah. But I got to get back and find out. And all of a sudden, this kid, suppose he's got 174 million views or whatever. So it takes off. I made myself watch the whole thing because this is what I do for a living. Mm-hmm. And the next day, you start seeing all the people picking this kid apart. He does this for clicks. Was the stores open? And, all this question stuff. Then some news guy here in town goes, yeah, we went back there, took a video. Their kids going to these. Anyway, I don't know what you can believe or not believe anymore. And that's my question to you.
Isn't that hard? Isn't that awful?
There is, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know who I follow something called Cat Turd on X. I don't know who this guy is, but you can be anybody. And I don't know that this is. But someone put an AI video of Governor Walz on,
Yeah.
And it's AI because he says stupid stuff and calls himself his own nickname and,
Right.
So it's fake. But it scares the bejesus out of me because if he wasn't saying unbelievable stuff that he wouldn't say, it looks like he's saying it. It's completely generated.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are fast approaching where you and I will not know what we saw or did not see or hear because they can do the same thing with audio. And you and I will never know what the truth is. And that to me scares me to death.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that I think like actual journalism and journalism to me, like, citizen reporters and YouTubers and bloggers and whatever, like they have scared me for years because when you blend the idea that somebody with a cell phone can have the same sort of institutional credibility as somebody who has gone to journalism school, who works for an organization that does have editorial control and, does fact checking and looks at sources and has, some legitimate credibility. Like journalism to me is kind of a sacred thing. And so I don't put a lot of, I don't give a lot of attention and I don't put a lot of credibility into sort of random YouTubers. Is it entirely possible that this dude is completely correct? Yes. And at the same what's the thing? Trust
but verify. Yeah.
I look to, legit journalists to verify those things. And if there is a question between, what random YouTuber says and what a credentialed journalist with editorial control and code of ethics say, I go with the journalist 100% of the time. In the same way that, you can't look on WebMD for all the things. If your doctor says, no, it's fine, your headache doesn't mean you have cancer. Like those kind of things.
It's a tumor. Well, let me ask you this, because this is back to the credibility issue. I don't think there was anything in that story the kid did that we hadn't talked about in this program in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
From autism to this, to that, the numbers. None of the we've talked about it because the Channel 9s, and I'm going to get them wrong, I'm sure. Channel 9, Channel 11, somebody's been out there last week and they did it. We've read about it. I mean, I have not gone out and looked. I've just only what I've seen in the paper or on a TV show. So these are those journalisms you're talking about.
Yeah.
But here's where I think it gets, where we find our own bias. When I look, if these numbers are right, and Care 11 did a story and stood in front of that same Somali daycare center and no one was there.
Yeah.
Why not the follow-up? If this is as big as we're being told, $1 billion was it? Well, we talked about that. Is it $1 billion or not $1 billion? The Star Trip, you want to do it. Now they're saying it could be $9 billion. I don't know, but if that's my job as a journalist, wouldn't you find out? Because if, and again, this kid didn't show us anything we didn't know. Why is it one hitters? Oh, we did that story in November. Was it bigger than that? I find that if we're anywhere near $1 billion, this should possibly be the news story on the Star Tribune, on all 5 news stations with their, what do they call it, investigative reporters?
Right.
That stuff should be every day, every week.
You know what? Here's the thing. Investigative reporting is every day, every week. It takes a while, and they won't put unanswered questions on the air. They generally don't, because they want to go after facts. They want to go after information and evidence and whatever. And maybe that's one of the differences between actual journalism and citizen reporting. Citizens reporting have no qualms putting unverified information or innuendo, out there. Right.
You're 100% correct, but that also spurns a lot. Like you say, none of the Channel 9, Channel 11, Channel 5, Star Trib stuff got 100 million views or whatever it is. No one cared. But the one he did, which, again, now I ask the question because I don't do it, right? He said this one place had 95 violations. Well, the Department of Human Services gal was asked, and she goes, yeah, it did. Okay, so then Al, now that I know this because I didn't get this someplace else, it's like, if you've got 95 violations in 4 years, roughly 20 a year, and you grow from 12 to 16 kids to one hondo, doesn't that raise, it just raised, how did we start going in there on a weekly? Now it shows me a system. I would never have known these numbers before. I had no idea this center had 95. The numbers don't really matter. But by doing some of that in innuendo stuff and bringing up stuff what was in fact to the DHS gal came out, I wouldn't have known it. There's something to it. There's something to X. You're right. Mm-hmm. It's not journalism, but if a kid with a microphone can get all the rest of us talking about numbers like that, which I had no clue on. The other one I got to go to break. The other one I'll throw at you. One of them said is this group got $1.9 million last year and say they have 100 kids, 99 kids. I rounded up because I could do math.
Yeah.
That means $19,000 a kid.
Per year?
Per year. 1.9 million divided by a hondo, if every kid went every day. And my point is, I'm a little shell-shocked by that number. I don't have kids, so maybe I haven't been paying attention. I know child care is expensive and all the rest. Yeah. But I go with, and we'll go to break, in southern Minnesota, I think the median income down here is like $36,000 in the county, right?
Yeah.
We pay half that to a child care center for an 8-hour babysitting job?
That is entirely possible.
Well,
you're talking about a year? Yeah.
Yeah, and so again, I want to talk things that it brought up that I wouldn't even have thought about had he not brought it up, and that's why I think there's something to it. We'll talk about it more with Shannon Watson right after this.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
I've got her Shannon Watson with Majority in the Middle, and I think what we're talking about here is just we see what we want to see. And I think we gotten away from, I think the reason Xers, these people, influencers, I didn't know this kid's name till yesterday. I don't know if he influenced anything. But they get some traction because the who, what, why, where, when idea of journalism, I think, has gone somewhere. Just give me the facts, ma'am, and let me make my decision up. And Shannon and I can look at the same facts and come up with different ideas of what that means.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Fox, you look at CNN, right? Two news organizations that you'll get a completely different idea of what the news was or is.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Because things like this story for me, that, by the way, $19,000 works out to about $9 an hour.
Okay.
Divided by 52, which sounds like, okay, $9 an hour. When I babysat back in the day, it was $1 a kid plus $5 if it was more than 3 hours. And, you know, it was a massive money haul. So I'm old. I get that. But if we're just supplementing a family's childcare, right? What the heck are you people paying? Oh my God, are we paying $20 an hour? Am I paying half for childcare?
Well, and that's the thing. So I don't have any kids.
No.
My sisters have kids. I have a lot of friends with kids. I have friends with grandkids. The sort of accepted like cost of childcare right now is people are usually paying just as much, if not more, for their mortgage for childcare. Childcare for kids under 5 is often more than a year's tuition at university. You could,
wow.
You could send,
I'm just off the track.
Your kid for college cheaper. Now, here's what's interesting to me about these numbers and childcare and all these things. Number one, it seems expensive, and at the same time, we have, because it is expensive, but we have. This is one of those issues where you kind of have to pick out who sort of benefits and who is a detriment for a problem. So like it's really expensive, and at the same time, we don't have enough childcare providers because they don't make a lot of money. And so like if we want to raise the wage for childcare workers, so it's more of a living wage, whatever, that actually means the cost of childcare is going to go up. And so you have to figure out, like, is everybody?
Well, see, this is where I love this conversation. You and I can have this. Is that at some point I say to you, why is that the government's business? If childcare gets $19,000, we have 2 kids, you're making or spending your first $38,000 putting your kids in daycare so you can go make 50, pay taxes, and you're right back to zero again. And I know this is old. I know I'm old. My wife and I, she stayed home for 6 years with our kids until they got to the age of going to school and learning. Not everyone can do it, but it's why do we have this insatiable need that everybody has to work? I mean, it's not that it's not work to stay home.
That's the other piece of the cost is when a parent or a grandparent or somebody provides the childcare, it is not captured in dollars anywhere. Like, think about it. When your wife, you were working and you were earning a wage, and your wife is doing a job, doing childcare, but that didn't show up in GDP. It didn't show up on your taxes. There was so it seems like it's quote unquote free if a parent or a grandparent or somebody else is doing it. So that's where government gets involved, is the opportunity cost of somebody, usually women, staying home and doing a job for no paycheck.
Well, yeah, because the job is raising children and having a family. Absolutely. And at some point, if the government's going to pay to watch your children, and then we've got to take it from everybody else that you can have, it just seems like maybe the opportunity is, why do we have to have the dual income? Because everything costs so much. Taxes are too high. We'll work that baby backwards. Guess what? Less kids needing that baby daycare, then guess what? The price will go down because guess what? There'll be less people in the business. But you bring up the numbers thing, and this is what I want.
Yeah.
We know how many babies are born every year.
Yeah.
They can go to hospital, get the number. We know what that is. 5 years from now, we should know exactly the number of kids that should possibly need daycare.
Right.
And if you're paying $19,000 a pop, we know exactly the top line of that bad boy right here. Here it is. Do the math. Mm-hmm. And we know what it costs. This idea that we can be frauded by it seems, once it gets to X, we're done. There's no more kids. We know there's a problem. I think we got to look at most of the issues we're having, not daycare and all that, in that same way. How many not Alzheimer's,
like the disability services.
Yeah.
And
how many people do we know need those? They all have doctor's notes. Doctors tell us how many you got. Here's the most we'll spend. Because they said some of the autism, that was it. There's this disability. There are 3,000 more beds than there were people who needed it. Well, who's getting into the business if you're going to have empty beds? Somehow, because there's money to be had, that there's still, you know what I'm saying? Blue Earth does not have more hotel rooms by 3,000 than we'd ever need, because you just haven't, you'd go broke.
Right.
So some math has to be applied. Does that make any sense? I'm just asking for the math to work.
No, that totally makes sense. And I do think that that's one of the things that is the opportunity for the state departments that that administer those programs is to ask those kind of questions and flag things and stop things. And, you know, some of that may be the laws that have been passed giving them the ability to do that. They may not have had that ability before.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
you've been doing this long enough. That's just common sense. It just seems common sense. But the horse is out of the barn. Is that the old saying? We probably can't fix what we already let go. But from this moment on, let's start doing the math.
That's the thing. Like when, you know, the governor a couple of weeks ago said that, you know, the assisted home placement or the assisted something for people who need housing and need home health care and whatever, like they were doing like a 2-month pause, like nobody was going to get any money. And the people who were legitimately in need and having home health care, and then somebody died. So like
it's not easy. But we got to do the math. Start with the math first. I got to fly. I'm out of time. Love having you on. See you in 2026.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Shannon Watson, the majority in the middle.